Hey, welcome. So today we're going to tackle a problem that every single one of us faces, procrastination. But look, we're not going to just talk about to-do lists or time management hacks. We're going to unpack a really powerful psychological tool that doesn't just help you get things done. It can actually change how you feel about doing them in the first place.
I mean, you know this feeling, right? That important report, the workout you planned, maybe even just cleaning the kitchen. It's just sitting there on your to-do list, basically staring back at you. And it's so strange. The more you know you should do it, the harder it is to start. It's a super frustrating cycle, but here's the thing. It's not about being wasted.
This is what we can call the procrastination paradox. It's this weird human tendency to avoid the very actions we know are going to benefit us. The key here is to stop thinking of this as some kind of personal flaw and start seeing it for what it is, a psychological puzzle that we can absolutely solve.
So, what's the advice we always get? Just do it. You just need to try harder. You just need more willpower. It sounds so simple, but come on, if it were that easy, procrastination wouldn't be such a universal struggle, would it?
The truth is, relying on willpower alone is a really flawed strategy. Psychologists even have a name for this. It's called ego depletion. The idea is that your self-control is a limited resource. Think of it like the battery on your phone. Every time you have to force yourself to do something, you're draining that battery. And eventually, you're just going to run out of juice. It's exhausting and it's totally unsustainable.
This chart really frames the difference perfectly. Willpower is all about forcing yourself. It's a short-term sprint that just burns you out. The better way, though, is sustainable. It doesn't push you from behind, it actually pulls you forward.
So, where does that pull come from? Well, it comes from what we're calling meaning-based drive. This is the big alternative to that draining battery of willpower. You can think of it as a renewable power source for your motivation, one you can tap into for any task at any time.
So what is it exactly? Meaning-based drive is the motivation you get when you connect an action, even a really boring or difficult one, to something you genuinely care about. It's not about the task itself anymore. It's about what that task represents for your bigger goals and values.
This is a perfect illustration of that mental shift. I have to write this report. That feels like a burden, right? But reframing it as, I'm clarifying our team's vision. Well, that connects the task to values like leadership and teamwork and success. The task is exactly the same, but the energy you bring to it is completely different.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice in our real lives? Let's get into the practical toolkit, and honestly, it's probably a lot simpler than you might think. It's really just a simple three-step process. First, you've got to identify a core value. Is it excellence, community, health? Whatever it is for you. Second, you connect the task to that value. So, how does organizing your messy finances relate to providing security for your family? And finally, you just rephrase your new why. So now you're not just paying bills, you're building a stable future. Huge difference. And this is the really crucial point. This goes way beyond just ticking boxes on a to-do list. This isn't just another productivity hack. This is a way to transform those mundane, everyday obligations into meaningful actions, which leads to a more intentional and, frankly, a more engaged life. The benefits here are profound. When you're pulled by purpose instead of being pushed by willpower, you just feel less resistance to doing things. You start to build motivation that actually lasts. And this, in turn, leads to greater satisfaction in your work and your life, because your daily actions start to feel like they genuinely matter. It helps you foster a real sense of purpose.
Ultimately, this is what it's all about. The goal isn't just to find some clever trick to stop procrastinating. The real prize here is to build a life where your actions, day in and day out, are actually aligned with your deepest values.
So, I'll leave you with a question, a little challenge. Look at your to-do list for today. Pick one thing you've been putting off and ask yourself, what's the deeper why here? How can I connect this little task to something that really, truly matters to me? Just find that connection and see what happens. You might be surprised.